Welcome to Shannons Club TV, where we look back on classic road and race cars from an Australian perspective.
In each episode, we examine what made our feature car stand out and take a drive with the proud owner. We'll also get a market update from the Shannons auctions team.
So let's kick off with the all-wheel drive super sedan from Japan that became a global performance icon, the first generation Subaru WRX.
Enzo Ferrari famously said, "When you buy a Ferrari, you pay for the engine, the rest of the car you get for nothing." Well, the original Subaru Impreza WRX was almost like that. Plain 15-inch alloys and gorgeous snarty steering wheel aside, a really low rent cabin. Just sometimes though, first impressions are not the only impressions. It took me 5 seconds of motion to realise this was the most astonishing new car I had yet experienced. The sheer grunt was a revelation. Here was a half-price alternative to the Nissan GT-R. The Impreza WRX could thrash any HSV offering. The Subaru Impreza WRX was the most important new car of the 1990s. It redefined the compact sports sedan, combining a turbocharged boxer engine, all-wheel drive with a remarkably stiff body and low centre of gravity. Arriving here in February 1994 at $40,000, sedan or hatch, your choice. Mark, had there ever been anything close to a purpose-built rally car straight out of the showroom, like the WRX?
Yeah, well, not in mass production terms, no. I mean, it's interesting looking back at the Group B World Rally Championship era. In those days, manufacturers had to produce 200 road legal examples for homologation. However, under Group A, under which the WRX competed, they had to produce a minimum of 2,500 units in a 12-month period. And this was fantastic because it not only meant there were a lot more cars to go around, but it also drove the price down. So this was a serious high-performance bargain.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Its 2-litre quad overhead camshaft, 16-valve, horizontally opposed 4 made 155 kilowatts at 6,000 RPM. Steady improvements followed. For 1997 came an exterior facelift and much improved cabin. A smaller turbo spooled up more quickly. An auto version was offered but few found buyers. For 1998 the WRX got 16-inch rims. Bigger news was the availability of the special STI with 2 doors, forged pistons and 206 kilowatts. But watch out if you neglected the 98 RON fuel. The 1999 WRX had 160 kilowatts, revised frontal styling and dual airbags. The MY00 car featured neater wheels and coloured key door handles and mirrors. For many aficionados, this was the greatest version ever, count me among them. The first gen WRX was offered in numerous limited editions. Notable were the 1997 Rally with an E in ProDrive Blue with gold alloys and the MY00 Club Spec in pale yellow with black wheels. I loved that one. Mark, it struck me in Group E racing how the WRX was usually quicker than an HSV, even on a power circuit like Calder.
Yeah, and that had plenty to do with its fantastic power to weight ratio and obviously traction, which was beautifully displayed in its incredible World Rally Championship career. The first generation of Subaru's WRX built a fanatical following through global rallying success between 1993 and 2000. The WRX, or World Rally Experimental, was based on the GC Impreza and developed as a smaller, lighter and faster replacement for the legacy RS in the World Rally Championship. Under Group A rules, the WRX was immediately competitive when it debuted in 1993, winning its first round the following year, followed by its first WRC driver's title, plus 2 manufacturer titles by 1996. The World Championship saw significant change the following year, when Group A was replaced with a new formula called World Rally Car. The new rulebook allowed much greater technical freedoms, resulting in Subaru's brilliant WRC 97, which claimed a 3rd manufacturer's title in its debut season. Faster and increasingly complex WRC 98, 99 and 2000 models followed in corresponding years, before being replaced by the second generation GD model in 2001, which claimed 2 more drivers' titles before Subaru withdrew from the WRC in 2008. John, as a former WRX owner, that competition link at the time, that must have been really alluring.
Oh, well it was. I mean, here was a car that, in a sense, it sort of takes you back to the 60s and 70s in the Australian supercar era when you could actually drive those things on the road.
Yeah.
But it was just such a special car. I had 2 of them, both of them MY00 cars, meaning they were made in 1999. And I really do think that was the best of them.
Yeah. It's amazing though, that car, even though it had a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, the noise, just the feeling of that engine, it just felt like it was something much bigger, didn't it? Every time you drove it.
Yes, it did. It was an awesome little car, and it was so torsionally stiff and beautifully made.
Yeah, outstanding engineering, wasn't it?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
The WRX also enjoyed unprecedented success in the Australian Rally Championship, thanks largely to the efforts of one man, a flying Kiwi by the name of Peter Bourne, better known as Possum. He earned the nickname after crashing his mother's car while trying to avoid a possum stranded in the middle of a road. The nickname stuck, and Possum Bourne was destined for stardom. With navigator Craig Vincent and the backing of Subaru Australia, Bourne and his Group A WRX cut a swathe through the Aussie forests, winning 3 Australian Rally Championships in a row between 1996 and 1998. A switch to the latest WRC Impreza consolidated Bourne's dominance, claiming another hat-trick of ARC titles, plus his 3rd Asia-Pacific Championship. As a result of its phenomenal success in global rallying, the original GC Impreza WRX has rightfully earned its place as one of Japan's, and indeed automotive history's, greatest mass-produced high-performance sedans. Remember to join the Shannons Club, where you can connect with other enthusiasts around the country.
My name's Costa. This is my Subaru 1999 WRX STI version 5 coupe. Purchased in 2001 off one owner. I had a 1998 WRX 4-door at the time. Once I was driving it around, I started noticing the 2 doors, the STIs, and I thought, oh gee, it would be great to have one of them one day. The condition of the car that I bought it in was immaculate condition inside and out. Wasn't a scratch on the car. Key specs of the vehicle, all-wheel drive, 1250 kilogram of weight. As far as the body goes, the rear wing is actually significantly higher. STI manufactured exhaust. Interior, STI seating. Apart from that, it's pretty much standard body of the WRX STI. Symmetry engine, 2-litre Boxster EJ20 motor, 206 kilowatts, turbocharged. To drive is actually beautiful. It's just an actual dream, effortless. The cornering, the braking, it's just balanced, everything's centered. The response of the actual acceleration from 0 to 100 is really quick, it's under 5 seconds. The mountain roads it was designed for, and love driving it around there. I've been a Shannons member for well over 20 years. They've been really standouts as far as insurance for performance cars that I've owned before, and this one as well. My intention is to maintain the vehicle as a stock vehicle. My son, he loves the car, he's as passionate as I am, so more than likely going to pass on to him.
I'll get to drive this car when my dad's
Gone. Not here anymore.
Well, Shannons National Auctions Manager Chris Borrabon is here with all the latest on the first generation WRX. Welcome, mate.
Welcome, Chris. Well, I have to say the first generation WRX is absolutely my favourite.
Yeah,
does
me
the
too.
market feel that way too?
Look, Look, I think there's a special spot for the first generation. We got to say it was a game changer, that car in the 90s.
Sure.
When it was introduced.
Amazing.
You know, I mean, we saw it dominate the world rally scene in that iconic blue with a 555 sponsorship, gold wheels. I mean, I think that set the mark, really.
Well, it really did, and you know, it was available here, 4-door, 2-door, and of course the 5-door hatch.
5-door hatch or wagon. Yes.
Where do those body styles sit in terms of desirability these days?
Good question. I think the 2 doors are always going to be, you know,
Always.
2-door STIs. STIs are going to be the, you know, probably the most desirable sought after. I think followed by probably the sedan. And look, but some people love the hatch because it's a practical car.
Practical.
And I think today, you know, looking at it, 4-wheel drive hatch, practical family car, or for leisure or lifestyle type car.
And with the next model, the hatch wasn't as interesting as the sedan because it didn't have the flared out guards.
Yes.
But the first generation car, they're a matching pair, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I think, you know, that first generation, I think, was probably iconic. Yeah.
And are these cars so collectible already that there is a bit of a pecking order with colours like the World Rally Blue? Is that more sort? That's the one I would want.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Look, I think as I mentioned, I think the 2-door STI, and again, that came in a limited number of colours.
Yes, yes.
I think, you know, you look at that, and I think people do have a soft spot for the blue. I think that was such an iconic colour. You know, we saw that in a World Rally Championship for a number of years. So I think that's probably takes precedence for a lot of people.
Yes.
But yeah, look, it's some colours I think are probably more popular than others.
And what about the special editions? Do you remember the custard yellow one with the black wheels?
Yep, that's right.
It was a pretty trick-looking thing.
It was, that's right. Yeah, so they did bring out some interesting cars, and again, you know, I think it's trying to find the right car that's you know, got the lower Ks, also that hasn't been modified, because most of them have been enhanced one way or another. You know, the bigger turbos, intercoolers, different wheels.
A lot of changes on the way through too. The 97 car got the better seats and a much upgraded interior, a lot of and smaller turbo. Does the market pick and choose between different years with the first gen GC WRX?
Yeah, interesting, that one. I think my preference would be for the later cars. I think they probably, you know, refined that model.
Absolutely.
And probably, you know, extracted a bit more out of the car. So that's probably would be my preference. Yeah.
You mentioned STI or Subaru Technica International, which was their hot up shop. It wasn't just a badge. I mean, those cars were, you know, hotter, higher performance versions.
They were, yeah.
So like the HSV of WRX, if you like.
Look, you got into one of those cars, you really had to turn your cap back to front. I mean, you can hardly drive the car. You've got to work out the immobiliser and turn your cap back to front.
But they would have to be the most desirable, given the fact it's not just a badge, they're actually a higher performance version.
Look, they were a great high performance car. I think, you know, especially with the 4-wheel drive, it was a very tractable car in the dry, and in the wet it was still, you know, an incredible car in the wet as well.
And here's a clue, they claimed 206 kilowatts when that was the maximum you could claim in Japan, so they claimed 206 kilowatts compared with 160 then for the standard car. Probably had more than
They probably did, yeah. I mean, we know a few manufacturers that did that in the day.
We do.
Yes.
Okay, so the pecking order, if someone wants to get a first generation WRX, we start with STI.
2-door STI.
2-door STI.
4-door STI.
Yep.
4-door sedan, and the hatch probably, you know,
sits in around there somewhere.
Yeah, and look, I think again, you know, some of the, you know, iconic colours like that blue, would probably a bit more favourable to some of the others.
Great. All right, thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
And remember, for all the latest on Shannons auctions, check out the Shannons Club website. If you want a lasting memory of the Subaru WRX in competition, check out the huge archive at autopix.com.au. John, yeah, it's probably a bit of a cliche to say it's a legendary car and everything, but it really was hugely significant, wasn't it?
Well, you think about the Australian scene, apart from interlopers like the Tirana XU1 and the Charger RTs, Australians' idea of a high performance car was a big thing, rear-wheel drive with a big V8 in the front. Yeah. And really the WRX almost overnight changed that perception.
Yeah, it did in one little package, didn't it?
And
it was influential on cars that followed.
It did set a template. I know it was only a template for 2, if you like, but it really did say, this is the 1990s, and this is what a high performance competition car should be like. Drive to all 4 wheels, really advanced turbocharged 2-litre engine, and you know, not too much in the way of frills and fussiness in the interior, fairly basic. And what a guttural, wonderful exhaust note that WRX had. It's quite a haunting sort of a sound, really.
Basically ticked all boxes.
It did.
Yeah,
It did.
that's the car.
Yes.
Yeah. I hope you've enjoyed reflecting on the immortal WRX, the first generation. Hope you can join us next time for Shannons Club TV. Bye for now.